Hello.
Are you panicked yet?
Honestly, widespread panic has not hit me yet. I'm not panicking. And I think actually because I had coronavirus.
Yeah, did you?
I think I did. There was a point in time where it was, what was it? A couple weeks ago.
Then if you had it, then you gave it to me.
Maybe I did. So I had 2 weeks ago, I had the worst fever of my life. It was so bad, but I powered through and I went to class, which was really bad and stupid. I went to class, but it was just a fever. I wasn't like coughing or anything. And then the fever went away the next day, but for the next 6 days, I had a very dry cough, and it was awful. It just would not go away. A dry cough, it just feels terrible because it's like you can't breathe. There's nothing that's coming out of you.
It's like chest tightness. It's
tightness. You can't take a full breath.
Then I have the exact same thing you had.
So I think I had it. I think I briefly gave it. I think I gave it to you at some point, even though we didn't kiss for that week. It's airborne, so I was breathing the same air as you. I think you ended up getting it.
I feel fine though. The only day I felt like kind of ooky was Sunday. It's kind of hanging around. Yeah.
And what's hanging around? I don't even know if I had a fever.
Because I slept for like an hour and a half on Saturday night, and so because of the fucking time change, which no one talked about this year.
Oh,
so,
yeah,
like, I didn't even know it fucking
so
happened.
Quick.
Yeah, so the I was so fucked up from the time change and not sleeping. I was like, do I have a fever or am I just physically? Because I was like hallucinating. I was so tired.
Yeah.
Like when you came in and visited me at work, I was just like, what? Who?
Oh, yeah. You weren't even there. Like I put my hand on your back and it just phased right through your stomach. It was so bizarre.
Yeah, Jacob Larson says that Tom Hanks and his wife also have coronavirus,
which is crazy.
Yeah.
What does that mean for them? Are they gonna die? They might.
They're old. Yeah. I mean, actually, you know what? If Tom Hanks dies of the coronavirus, that's gonna put full panic mode.
It'll be the end of times.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody will freak out. You know how a dry cock just feels. Yeah. Thank you, Neon. It's true. The coronavirus is 6 days of dry cock.
Mm-hmm.
But so I think really what it was is like I didn't realize I had it. But looking back, I probably did.
And you're the one that brought it to your campus, which on the bright side, you're getting a week off from school now.
Yes, so my campus just shut its doors for from tomorrow, Thursday through Tuesday. I don't have class. And then starting on Wednesday, we have 5 weeks of only online instruction, which means I get to hang out in my bedroom all day long.
It's perfect.
But also, like, I'm able to take on this job that I want to take, so it worked out. I don't know. I got canceled school. But there are some classes that I have that are just impossible to convert to online. It'll be so impossible and everybody will fall behind.
It's going to be a complete fucking mess.
Oh, it's awful. And they should have been prepared for this kind of thing. You know, this same sort of outbreak happened with previous flus. And
I think that they just, this one's just so lethal because I was reading a statistic the other day that the average age of the person that died in Italy was in their like high 80s. Because they had like those 100 people die in like one day.
Yeah, it went up to 600 something in the past 24
deaths?
hours. Yeah.
Wow. But yeah, so we watched Trump's thing right before this started because I figured, so if you guys haven't gotten the news, I'm going to just I made some bullet points of the like things he said. He's going to suspend all European travel on Friday for 30 days. Americans who aren't sick can come back. Insurance companies are going to waive co-payments for people who have COVID. Financial relief for people sick and unable to work if they have COVID. Again, small business loans. I don't really know what the fuck that means. Tax deferment if you have COVID, and then a payroll tax relief, which seemed to be blanket whether or not you have it or not, which I'm all for that. So that's the big. He said a lot of dumb shit, but that was the shit that actually seemed important, and I figured you guys should know about it.
Yeah, there was a funny part where he like sort of went off script.
Oh, it's when
you could tell
his hands started moving.
So the whole thing, his hands were clasped
yeah.
across his desk. And then at one point he like lets go and starts doing this, and it's like, oh, he's going off the rails. And what he was saying is like, the coronavirus has no. I'm turned into Bernie.
Yeah.
Has no chance, and like his language was like, it has no chance. It is very, very unlikely.
The coronavirus has no chance.
No chance. Yeah, exactly. I hate doing a Trump impression. I don't know why I just did one.
Oh.
It's the most. It makes me ill.
Why
makes
does it
me
bother
feel
you
like
so much?
I don't know. I just feel gross
I
doing
find it
it
really amusing.
because everybody tries to do one and it's always bad.
It's always bad, but that's the thing. Is it's like it's kind of it's fun because it's bad. It's stupid. It's different if you're just talking like him and admitting he's funny a lot of the time. I know he's not really funny right now, but like when he is funny, it's different when like Stephen Colbert's doing a Trump impression and telling unfunny jokes.
Mm-hmm.
That's when it's fucking lame. But if you're just because it's easier to deliver the intention of what he's saying when you do it in his voice because it sounds infinitely stupider. It's like because even that speech he gave tonight would have sounded much more reassuring if it was coming from a different person.
Yeah.
Because I so seldom hear him speak. I usually just read it because I don't really like hearing him speak because it does make you shudder a little bit.
Yeah.
And he kind of was like, he seemed sick.
Yeah.
And he also snorted.
Yes. So he did like a.
Yeah.
And he also coughed like twice or like lost his I don't know, his voice for a split second.
Yeah.
So I think he has coronavirus. He might die.
It'll kill him for sure. It'll definitely kill Biden.
If the amphetamines don't stop his heart.
Oop.
The coronavirus.
Did he puke?
No.
I thought my dog just puked. Sorry.
No, he did.
He's a bulldog. He pukes all the time. So
he seemed he was, and you said that this is like status quo for his little like addresses at his desk.
Yeah,
he
teleprompter.
Seemed it was so boring.
Every teleprompter thing he ever does is painful.
I was hoping for some excitement.
I wanted Rally Trump. Rally Trump's fun. Yeah. Teleprompter Trump, not fun.
No. He doesn't want to be there.
No. So we're going to talk about coronavirus for a little while, and then we're going to talk about election stuff because they're all kind of connected into. Shit, I forgot to. One second.
Oh my gosh. I'll catch up here then. Let's see. Jacob Larson, what campus do you go to? You don't have to share if you don't want to. I go to Indy. I go to a school in California.
Yeah, just keep it.
And I don't know. The email that got sent out was very abrupt. They had been sending out sort of things that were, hey, we had some students go to Washington, D.C. They came back after being exposed to 10 people went to Washington, D.C. They were exposed to 3 people who had the virus, came back, and now there's like a student who lives on campus who's in self-quarantine. There are 2 other students, and then the rest of the faculty are also like self-quarantining.
Right.
So basically it was like, hey, it's contained. They were sending out emails like, it's contained. No worries. We have no reason to panic right now, and we're in the process of mitigating this infection. So just hang tight. You'll be fine. And then today they sent out, literally today at like 9 a.m., they sent out an email that was like, we're canceling all classes starting tomorrow.
Yeah, like the thing that was kind of telling for me was we're just looking at Amazon for toilet paper, and even Amazon's also sold out toilet paper. And I don't get that one exactly. But you said it's doomsday prepping people.
It is. So it basically like toilet paper at Target, on Amazon, and hand sanitizer and all these things are like, they're all sold out. Not to really, well, I guess for hand sanitizer, it's like, yes, if you have hand sanitizer, you'll keep your hands clean. But you're depriving somebody else of that hand sanitizer.
It also doesn't do shit. So the guy, so Joe Rogan, you all should go listen to it. It's only about an hour and a half. Had a guy on named Michael Osterholm, and basically what he is a investigator for infectious diseases. So like he's the guy that kind of goes and tries to find patient zero and figure out what exactly is going on.
And he's worked with many administrations in the past 2 decades or so.
Yeah, I mean he's credible, very credible guy. So it's just kind of generally informative. And one of the things that he basically said was that he was saying, sorry, that comment through. I got to keep those out of my peripheral. He said that it's breathing, so you're fucked. Really, I mean, like really, the only way that you can avoid this is to just not go out. Yeah. And so I'm not gonna do that. If this kills me, it was meant to be. But like I'm young, I'm not compromised in any kind of way. And basically, what he was saying is what's peculiar about it is that children, so people under the age of 19. Will get it, but they don't. They're asymptomatic, but very contagious. So really, children are totally fine, and which is unusual because flu does kill usually small children. Flu-type illnesses, pulmonary illnesses, small children, elderly. But this one is really specific to elderly. And what he said that I thought was very interesting was that when it does gain hold here, which he's pretty confident that it will in the United States, fat people are so fucked. And I'm almost like I'm not
people with underlying major health problems like obesity and asthma. What else did he said like a couple others, but he definitely emphasized
obesity.
And
I think what's so interesting about that is like I'm not if I'm being sincere, I'm not morbid enough to want, like, I've seen a lot of people with the dumb takes of like, well, it'll kill all the boomers, and it's just like, okay, like, let's not do that.
You want to kill your parents? Do you really hate your parents that much?
Right, exactly. Yeah, and it is kind of like a weird sort of like Greek sort of thing.
Yeah, well, fuck you, Dad.
Yeah, the way
it's
it's weird. And then the thing of like fat people, like, on the one hand, I would love for the fat acceptance movement to die because like I'm healthy at any weight, and then this fucking virus kills you because you're obese. It's like, well, actually, you weren't. But at the same time, I don't really want people to die of this.
No, of course.
I was most of the population thinning and was a joke. I don't want anyone to get hurt on this. This is
of course.
Yeah, but it's but at the same time, like basically what he was saying was like, don't panic, but just don't be stupid.
Yeah.
And everyone's being stupid. And so it's kind of like as evidenced by the toilet paper thing. It's like, what are you accomplishing by just making it like, don't inconvenience everybody else's life because you're panicking. Like, this is fucking stupid. And
Jacob just brought up a point. So he said he has an autoimmune disease from in his lungs, and if he gets it, he might actually die, and he's only 22. And that's the thing. Like, if you deprive resources from people who are immunocompromised,
right,
like people with AIDS, people
sure,
with other underlying autoimmune disorders, it's like you can kill these people just by trying to overprotect yourself for no reason.
Well, and like there's a statement I've made to you many times. It's like if your water were to shut off tomorrow, in 2 days people will be eating each other.
And it's the same thing with this toilet paper thing. People are in enough of a panic to clear out Target stock, Amazon stock of toilet paper because social contract is gone at the slightest hint of a mass outbreak of coronavirus.
And it's so stupid here in California too, because everyone here is like so anti-gun, but they'll stock up on all these things, and it's like this stuff you have is only as good as the bullets you have to protect it. And like, you laugh, but you know that that's true.
Right, but in the meantime, I don't think this outbreak is going to be wild enough to completely disassemble the government. So there will still be police officers and laws, and you will be tried if you rob somebody of their toilet paper at gunpoint. So I'm not letting you consider this option yet.
Well,
as soon as the government declares fucking martial law, I'll let you do it.
I'm not gonna be the one robbing people. I'm saying that everybody else is fucking insane. Because again, it's like the people who are already like buying all the hand sanitizer, like they're so fucking stupid.
Yeah,
they're such stupid idiots. And like, again, it's like I was talking to my father about it. He went to the mall and was doing all the right things, washed his hands when he got into the mall, all this stuff. And he's in his late 60s. So like, you know, is somebody of kind of like concern. And then he was like, then I was going down the escalator and grabbed onto the thing, and I was like, what the fuck was all this for? Like, this was such a waste of time. It's like, and that's really the reality of it. Like, you're gonna fuck up. And again, it's like that. What this guy was saying on Rogan was, it's not. It's like touching your face. It's not. This isn't this. It's totally like
your eyes don't have. If you touch your eyes, they don't have like receptors that get you. You can't get the virus through your eyes.
It's all through breathing.
It's breathing. Yeah. I mean, don't put your fingers in your mouth, obviously, but it's mouth stuff. So don't breathe air. Just close your mouth.
Yeah, exactly.
Just stop breathing.
Sew it shut.
Sew it shut. Stop. Breathe through your ears.
No more dick sucking.
What?
It's illegal now.
What?
See, now you've changed it too.
Donald Trump says
no more sucking
dicks.
Dick. Look, folks. I love sucking dick. I love riding. I love bouncing on my boy's dick. But we're gonna have to make some sacrifices here in America, and one of them is not bouncing on my boyfriend's dick.
No. Ugh, that's awful.
You don't want to think about Trump?
I don't want to think
that big cottage cheese booty bouncing on some dick.
I don't want to think about him banning
that tennis booty,
gay sex related. Ew. You know, there's like layers to his ass. Like, it's like you fold one up and then there's another layer and you fold. It's like crusty in there.
I'm surprised that like there aren't more gays with the coronavirus. Like, I'm surprised that it hasn't infected West Hollywood.
It's because gays are self-quarantining because a self-quarantine is just a kiki.
Oh, good point. Yeah, we're all in our rooms talking tea alone.
Spilling tea.
Yeah.
Spilling tea. It's just
Spilling
a few
tea,
gays
excuse
in
me.
one room and they're staying together. That's what it is. A self-quarantine is just a kiki.
Are we having one right now? It's kind of what we're doing.
We are.
Yeah. Jacob Larson says 126,549 cases, 4,621 deaths, 5,594 serious, 68,000 recovered. So currently there are 58,463 infected as of right now. I mean, and like I was doing the math the other day.
It was. I can summarize it real quick.
Yeah, it's basically, well, you already knew. You remember what I
The
had?
percentage of the population that is infected is like 0.000000128.
Yeah, you got it. And then if it was 10 million infected, it's 0.001. So of the entire global population. Yeah. So, and I think that, and then flu affects 0.1 of the population. Yeah. Just for like, sort of a general reference.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I just don't really, the timing, I'm not talking like conspiracy or suspicious. It's just like the timing of everything right now just seems to be so peculiar.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of we're in this weird election flux, like this sickness stuff. It's just, I don't know. It's very strange.
It is odd.
Let me make sure I didn't miss anything on this.
And the vast majority, actually, of the country doesn't give a shit about this election. Really what it is, like, they're focusing on the coronavirus because it actually can affect them, whereas most people don't think politics would affect them. Oh, my God, my mouth just touched the mic.
Oh, my God.
I'm going to get coronavirus again.
Yeah. You're gonna be the patient zero for making a worse version of it.
Oh, my God. COVID-20.
Yeah. But... yeah, I think I think that what this also sort of illuminated to me, and I know Neon is probably gonna have a lot of thoughts on this, probably in agreement, is like this is really showing me personally what the disadvantage of having a global economy is.
Oh, I'm so glad because I was just thinking of the economy thing.
Yeah.
So what do you know about how China's economy is doing?
They're fucked, and the thing is like another big part of our problem right now is that most of our drugs are manufactured over there. Mm-hmm. I don't know if most, but a fuck ton.
Yeah.
And so it's like now that we've cut supply chains now to Europe, which we get a lot from Germany as well. Germany and China, we've now like this. It's like why like I have said, it's like why I am a Tulsi Gabbard supporter is like it's not isolationism, guys. It's just when these kinds of things happen, we need to have a little bit of insulation domestically.
Our own. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's really bad. So
but if you don't know our stock market, we're
officially in a bear market, which is bad. The Dow dropped a fuck ton, and so but like I mean the reality is like I forgot who said it, but it was a really brilliant quote. Is like just buy now because the reality is that if it totally collapses, we're not gonna be using the dollar anymore anyway. Yeah. So who fucking cares? It's just sort of like your money's worthless if it crashes beyond a certain point. So just fuck it. Like now, like, but again, it just goes to show how fucking panicky people are because, as evidenced by a lot of like the voting lately, people are at the very best completely dominated by fear, or at the very worst, very stupid, very very stupid. And I think that it's a little bit of both. I think the very stupid are very influenced by fear. Nianoni says Tucker has been great about this. If there's anything good to come from this, it's bringing back critical manufacturing. Yeah, I mean, like, and it's funny too because like you would think that like okay, like I understand why technology is manufactured over there. I like just from a cost, analysis, but like why drugs? Like why are we so dependent on them for fucking everything? That was news to me. I had no idea that we got so much of our drugs over there.
Look, critical manufacturing, does that mean just here? Manufacturing here in the U.S.?
Yes.
It's not going to happen unless it's...
not. Oh, I'm sorry.
It's not going to happen unless it's subsidized by the government.
It depends on what it is. I mean, like...
it's too expensive for a firm to start a factory here in the U.S.
But not for drug manufacturing.
I don't know. I mean, what's the labor that goes into making drugs? The labor value, like the worker that is in China costs 2 cents an hour as opposed to...
Yeah, sure. But again, like the drug prices are so fucking inflated and subsidized by insurance. It doesn't really make like... I mean, if I were to like get the medications I get and like without insurance, they're like $400. And then when I use my insurance, they're $5. Less than $5. It's like $320 something. So it's like it's all subsidized and fucking horse fucked anyway.
Yeah.
But and again, it's like, and then another medication I get that you know of, it's like kind of specialty stuff. It's from a compounding pharmacy that makes it. So like when I order that medication, it's ordered specific. It's made specifically for me.
Wow.
So it's so we have the ability. It's just not on a large industrial scale. So, or I guess not like in the totality of the drugs that people need. What I'm hopeful about is that like essential drugs like insulin and things like that, or like heart medications and whatever, we won't have a problem with those sorts of supplies.
Yeah. Yeah, Neononi also says, or at least push to bring back critical manufacturing, but we'll all stop carrying a week after the coast is clear.
Yeah.
He also says, I just bought a new AR pistol. I, unlike you American-hating commies, support U.S. manufacturing.
Yeah, well, yeah, I guess, yeah, my main one is Austrian. So.
Look, like the truth is, I was just talking to another student yesterday about this whole manufacturing thing in the U.S., specifically in regard to textile mills.
I'm not going to pull any videos up, so I don't know if I can wear these.
Oh, all right. That's a good idea. So specifically in regard to textile mills, we have almost none in the U.S. And the biggest vendor so my friend worked at a fabric shop, and their biggest vendor just closed down but didn't tell anybody for like 6 weeks. None of their orders were coming through. And it's like, well, of course they have to close their doors. There's no way to sustain yourself in the U.S. because it's just too expensive to have labor here.
It's mostly just like the expectation of Americans about how much things should cost. Mm-hmm. It's like a friend of mine, he models for this company, and the exchange is just closed. And he told me, I was like, hey, I really like that stuff that you've been modeling. And he's like, oh, just ask me and I'll get you some stuff. And I was like, cool. I go on their website, it's made in the United States, and like a T-shirt is $75. Mm-hmm. I'm sure it fits a lot better than like a Hanes 3-pack that you get for $10 at Target.
Yeah.
But for the average person, it's like, you're gonna, if you fill a wardrobe to have different clothes every day of the week, it's going to be $1,000.
Yeah, it's a much bigger conversation, but I think like there needs to be a huge structural change to make it so that we have more expendable income, so that we can afford goods that are produced here in the U.S. So we can facilitate building more factories and textile mills, and like denim, which started in the U.S. It doesn't exist here anymore. Mm-hmm. Gloves don't exist here anymore. There's one glove maker in the
New
U.S.
York, right?
In New York, yeah, Wing and Weft, and they're amazing, but they're expensive because China just does all of it now. It's much less expensive. Thing is, like, we need to have incentives to build more manufacturing here in the U.S., but we just don't, because you and I aren't going to buy a $75 T-shirt once a week. That's too much money.
Right.
So how do we get more money into our hands, or how do we get more money from the government into firms' hands to build factories here so that we can manufacture here? And that would also protect us from the Chinese economy bubble that we have.
Right.
So I don't know. It's a much bigger conversation, like I said, but it's important to remember in regards to like our manufacturing of pharmaceuticals. This is a health crisis, and we're relying on a country that's succumbing to this health crisis.
Right. Well, I mean, I'm sure as shit we probably make all the OxyContin here, because.
Yeah.
But I don't know. And then fentanyl is getting all shipped in from there. I don't know what the fuck. I mean, it's just sort of. I don't know. Like this. It's been weird watching this sort of like unfold, because like again, it's one of those things of like coming from the perspective of I'm unlikely to die. Mm-hmm. So I'm not terribly concerned for my own personal well-being. We just saw my 90-year-old grandparents. They would be proper fucked.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, I wonder if my parents are thinking about that. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. Like, what's the appropriate I don't know. It's when you're somebody who thinks relatively independently, which most Americans don't really seem to. When you are faced with things like this, it sort of causes distress, not because you're panicked about what's happening, but just because you're like unaware of how to feel. And you're like, I can't really get a good read on what I should be feeling about this exactly, which is sort of a weird position to be in.
Yeah.
But
there's one more thing about the coronavirus in regards to China's economy.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see that picture of Beijing? The skies are clear.
Interesting.
So one good thing to come out of this, out of the Chinese economy fumbling, is the atmosphere and the environment. So I don't think I actually wrote anything about it.
But
basically, the environment's like, the ozone is better in China. Like, it's all like
that's something.
It's looking better, even based on the last 6 to 8 weeks that we've had coronavirus, because so much manufacturing in that part of the world is down. Emissions are way down too.
On the bright side too, those pesky Hong Kong protests seem to have died down.
Oh yeah,
because we're a pro-Chinese communist government podcast. So.
Yeah, good. We squashed those capitalist scum. I really hope the protest.
Think about it. So you just said that, and we're like, we must seize the means of manufacturing. I want to sign up to be dictator.
Greta will be pleased about the cleaner Chinese skies.
She never talks about China.
Oh, that's true.
No, she doesn't touch China or India.
Who did recently? Bloomberg.
Bloomberg,
which
yeah.
sucks.
Fucking Coomberg did it
sucks
before
ass.
Greta.
But yeah, he talked about China and India. But yeah, I wonder if there was. Did we have anything else on coronavirus that was?
I don't think so. I think we're just all kind of. I mean, what the guy said is like basically it's going to be about 6 months of shit. Is basically what he was saying.
It won't go away with warmer weather.
No, that's what he said. But he said that like it'll start to die down like by that time. But I guess we'll see. It can only go on for so long. It's right. But I don't know. I don't even really pretend to. I don't know. I don't even really know like what to think about this. It's like, again, that's what's the frustrating part for me. It's like,
and the thing is, like, telling all of you guys who watch this don't panic is doing nothing, because you guys are level-headed and won't panic over this, unless of course you have like an autoimmune disorder. But I feel like you're taking care of yourself, Jacob.
I mean, you'd have to.
So, like, what do you do?
How do you
convince people to
Tom
not?
too. Tom's an old man.
Oh yeah.
I hope that's not why he's not here.
Oh no,
Tom.
No. I just like.
Tom's a resident boomer that we love. He's a good boomer.
He's a good man. And that reminds me, there's something that he brought up last week that I want to talk about this week. But obviously, like, take care of yourselves. It's a stupid thing to say, but how do you convince somebody to not panic when they're already panicking?
You can't. Like I said, like it takes nothing. And like I really do blame like a failure of the media on this one. Just which of course is like, when are they not fucking failing? But it's just it's this just constant sort of. But then again, it's like then their fear-mongering gets confirmed by massive shutdowns of everything. Yeah. So it's like, I don't really know.
My campus getting shut down just fuels the fire for more campuses.
But they're not speaking about it honestly. Like the way that it's being presented is, we are shutting down your campus because of this horrible thing. But the reality is this, like, no, we just can't afford a lot of people to get concentratedly sick in one place because we don't have the resources to handle that many people. That's really what it's like. It's to mitigate large clusters. I mean, but they're not saying that. It's just about because everything's horrible and we're all gonna die, and you're like, okay. But China just announced they made a coronavirus cure, but 30 minutes after you take it, you feel sick again. Huh. What other country said they had a cure for it?
I don't know. The 30-minute cure. That's just a shiatsu massage. You feel good for 30 minutes, and then you're back to feeling awful. Is shiatsu Chinese?
I'm alive and well.
Hello! Oh, thank goodness. Oh, we love you, Tom.
You are a hardy boomer.
But Tom wanted me to talk about something. Or rather, I want to talk about something that Tom brought up from last week.
Let's coronavirus. Got it. We'll keep you updated if anything happens. But we'll move on to election.
Let's go into Sean's History Corner.
Yeah.
So I took some notes. I did some research last night and the night before, just about, because last week we talked about the assassination of Robert Kennedy.
Of Jesse James by the Colorado before.
Exactly, the assassination of Jesse James. So I took some notes on this. I was gonna put it in my little yellow book, but I'm still too scared to write in it. I keep opening it and I bend a page back and I'm like, I'm hurting it too much. Because it's such a beautiful, like, cute, citrusy notebook. It's beautiful. So basically, I wanted to talk about the 1968 Democratic race, because there are a lot of parallels to today.
Yeah, I'm interested to hear this because I wasn't aware of some of this, and we sort of started to touch on it last week, but like because the question of when someone dies, where
Joe Biden might die of coronavirus.
And then I have a thing that I'm going to expand on this after you're done that will probably be relevant, but I want to hear what you have to say.
Yeah, so it'll take me a couple minutes, but I want to start with like setting the scene.
Okay.
Lyndon B. Johnson was president.
Yep.
Wasn't he the one with the big dick?
Well, he had a big. I don't know about big dick, but he had big balls.
Oh, okay.
Because he needed extra inches on his pants.
Yeah.
And he also would take shits in front of aides while they were talking to him, and also said, "We'll get these Nintendos voting Democrat for the next 60 years."
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes. And
hard,
actually
hard, hard end Nintendo.
Hard end Nintendo, and that was decades before Nintendo actually started, which was really amazing. He could tell the future.
He was a soothsayer.
So basically, he served one term, and he was basically like a pro-war policy president because we were in Vietnam at that time.
Yep.
Towards the end of his presidency, though,
that's like the biggest smear on his thing.
Yeah. So towards the end of his presidency, it was like people started to critique him, but he was entering the race. So he entered the first primary, which was in New Hampshire, and he just barely won the primary, and that sort of convinced him to drop out because he wasn't doing well enough. He was getting a lot of criticism from other candidates who had entered. Basically, one of the biggest ones was Eugene McCarthy. I have to write down a lot of these because I wouldn't have been able to remember it.
Sure.
But March 1968, he drops out. Eugene McCarthy criticizes him on his foreign policy because he's like basically a warmonger. Eugene McCarthy was running for president as well. Prominent critic. He sort of introduced like a good divide in the Democratic Party, which is kind of what we have right now.
Like the progressives versus the moderates. Kind
Exactly. And the moderates are warmongers.
Right.
So,
yeah. Well, they are the neocons and the neoliberals are the same thing now.
It was basically war versus peace, and Eugene McCarthy was like a peace candidate. So Hubert Humphrey is another candidate in that election. He was actually part of the campaign for Lyndon B. Johnson. When he had the primary in New Hampshire, Hubert Humphrey was tasked with spearheading that campaign. But when Johnson dropped out, he inherited all of Johnson's delegates.
Interesting.
Yeah, which I thought was interesting too. But here's a quote. Hubert Humphrey was the administration's strongest advocate on Vietnam policy. So he was also a warmonger. And it's like, how could you not be when you're campaigning for...
The warmonger.
Exactly, the warmonger candidate. So... Believe it or not, Hubert Humphrey never entered into any of the state primaries. At the time, I think there were 13 or 15. I'm seeing conflicting things online. But there were 13 primaries that I could find when I was looking up the delegate counts. So 13 primaries. California was one of them. New Hampshire, some others. It was basically like a Super Tuesday kind of amount of states.
Okay.
Hubert Humphrey didn't enter any of them, even after he entered the race when Lyndon B. Johnson dropped out. What he did to get his delegates was become like the sweetheart of like the heads of the establishment.
Yeah.
So he buddied up with people who inevitably would decide where the state's delegates went to. Okay. Votes, of course, mattered, but the states had the final say in where all their delegates went to, which is really cool. Since then, of course, we have primaries everywhere, but it wasn't that way back then. So basically, he was the poster boy for the DNC, establishment candidate, pro-war, basically pro-money. Let's see. And then, of course, next to Hubert Humphrey, so Hubert Humphrey had been the front runner. Robert Kennedy joined the running, and like Eugene McCarthy from before, they were both like anti-war, pro-peace candidates. There's sort of like he's a progressive, so there's like a Bernie parallel happening where it's like all of the things that he introduced were progressive. And I know Tom last week mentioned how excited he was to vote for Kennedy, but had to hold his nose and vote for Hubert Humphrey because in the end, Hubert Humphrey won the nomination without entering any of the primaries. But on June 5th, 1968, Kennedy was assassinated. So the delegates that he had from the California primary, which he had won, he had about 394 delegates. It says 393.5. I don't know where you would get a 0.5 delegate. But
a dwarf, probably.
Something like that.
Yep.
So so he had 393.5 delegates, but he was assassinated. And last week we were wondering where the delegates went. For a little while, they went uncommitted. So basically, they were just free floating. They still belonged to Kennedy, even though he had died. But after a while, they were split, not between Humphrey and somebody else. None of his delegates were given to Humphrey, even though he was the front runner. They were divided among McCarthy and another candidate named something McGovern. Maybe
George McGovern.
George McGovern. So his delegates went to those two, although it wasn't very many delegates, unfortunately. So it didn't push McCarthy, who was the progressive candidate.
McGovern was the progressive candidate.
Both McCarthy and McGovern.
Really?
Eugene McCarthy? I mean, well...
Because wasn't McCarthy, you said he was a surrogate of Johnson?
No. That was Hubert Humphrey.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Eugene McCarthy was the one who was critiquing Johnson for his foreign policy.
Because I remember McGovern was a progressive. I do know that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay. I'm sorry. Anyway, continue.
Mm-hmm. I'm almost at the end here. So basically his delegates were divided among Eugene McCarthy, and George McGovern. I think George.
It is.
But in the end, Humphrey still got the most amount of delegates. And so he received 1,568 delegates without participating in a single primary in the 13 states that had them. Whereas I think McCarthy, who was like the runner-up, he ended up with, I think, either 1,300 or 1,100 delegates, something around there. So not nearly enough to get the nomination.
I think it's 1,500, right?
I think, actually, if you look it up now, it's like 1,900 to get something like 1,900. And the way I found this was Bernie delegate count, if you just search it. Bernie delegate count, you'll see, 1991 delegates needed to win the nomination, but if it's contested, they'll just choose. They chose the person with the most delegates here.
Here's this if you guys want to see it.
Yeah. So basically, if obviously nobody's on track to get 1,900 delegates right now, because more than half the states have voted.
Yeah.
So they'll probably choose the person with the most.
And Bernie lost Michigan. He's losing Washington State. Looks like he's fucked. I mean, like, yeah. I mean, I'm not saying there's not a chance at all, but I mean. But
the reason we talked about this is because Joe Biden might die.
Right. So here's an interesting thought that I've seen passed around, and so on the Hill today, Chunk Yogurt was on, and actually said something that wasn't stupid. He said that what could possibly happen would be that Biden will step down, and then they will give it to somebody else. And then I talked to Diego, who's somebody we met at the Tulsi event, and so I'll just read his words because he was I didn't really give the theory much credence when I first heard it, but when he explained it, it kind of made it a little more interesting. So
are you looking for it?
So
so basically, let me just finish up. So
I didn't know you weren't.
No, I did, but there was one more thing I forgot to write down. Hubert Humphrey got the nomination, and of course lost to Nixon, because not everybody was going to rally behind Hubert Humphrey.
Right. Yeah.
Because Hubert Humphrey was a warmonger. Same thing as today. I don't want to rally behind Joe Biden, but if I have to, I'm going to fucking blow my brains out after I cast my vote.
So this is my friend, or our friend Diego. He says, as for voting, I don't think they'll actually nominate Biden. I'm with Chunk Yogurt on this one. They'll use Biden to block delegates from Bernie so no one has a majority and it goes to a second round of voting. Then they'll replace Biden with someone else like Kamala Harris, saying Biden is unfit and run their chosen establishment candidate. I said I saw it this morning. He said Biden is too obviously compromised mentally, and he's coasting on a strong media narrative that he's more electable than Bernie. He isn't. And his name recognition plus Obama association. I think he's right. And I said, it's hard for me to take Chunk Yogurt seriously, and I'm just not letting my head go there yet. And I said, I agree with him. He said, yeah, but I think he's right on this one. It's a strategy I suspected when Pete and Amy first dropped out. The past week or so only added credence to the idea. So,
well, they could actually, if you scroll just a little to the right, if you click that arrow, they could give the delegates to the only woman left in the race.
Yeah.
If they wanted a woman of color, like Kamala Harris, why don't they just give it to somebody who's still in the race, Tulsi Gabbard?
Still in the race and actually has delegates, yeah. They never will, but
no, they wouldn't.
That'd be fun.
But imagine, I mean, I think you actually proposed it last week. If Joe Biden died and his delegates were split between Bernie and Tulsi, I'd love to see both of them on a stage.
Oh,
that'd be
great.
Fucking cool. But not happening.
Because it was like just like everywhere. Because like I think really ultimately what lost him this because he shouldn't have lost states that he won against Hillary.
Yeah, I
like
know.
and clearly what it proved is that he alienated older black voters, which he didn't before,
and rural
whites.
Yeah,
and it's like, and this should not have happened. And on the one side, you could guess that it's because Trump's message has resonated with them more than his was. On the other hand, it's like, I really had to hold my nose when he got the squad endorsement, because I was just like,
it could be both.
I think it's a little bit of both. Yeah,
because Trump's message does, and it still does.
Or like
resonate.
having Sean King be like there was just such a miscalculation by his his advisors about how these people are online popular, but they're not nationally popular people. In fact, they're largely laughing stock people to people on the left and the right. Like, Sean King is hilarious to me. Like, he's a ridiculous person who race baits, and I'm not, whatever. He just sucks. and AOC, like, you know, I'm not going to be rude and call her stupid, but I just think she's to put it as politely as I possibly can, she's a completely ineffective communicator to having her pulse on what nationally needs to be said. In contrast to someone like Tulsi Gabbard, who is an incredibly effective communicator, and then everyone goes, well, then why isn't she polling higher? Because everything was working against her to get her to shut the fuck up. So, but I would ask you the same question of why in every debate was she the most fucking trending moment every fucking time? Yeah. How did she single-handedly sink the frontrunner at that time, Kamala Harris's campaign?
Unbelievable, dude.
Because she is a surgical strike with words.
Yeah.
And like Trump, AOC is like just verbal diarrhea.
Yeah. If at any point I was wrong during my history corner, Tom, please let me know. But that's what I gathered.
I'm impressed, I gotta say, because I think you're really stupid. So.
I like having a little segment that proves that I'm
not just above. The dumb hot one.
Not just the dumb. I'm the reasonably average hot one.
You're the eye candy that brings the viewers in. But
exactly.
You've just
with
proven
this
that you have
toothy smile.
This big, Gio put that very poetically. It was dentist grade smile or
something like that.
Yeah, it was very sweet. But yeah, it was just I think the only reporter I trust anymore is Michael Tracy.
Yeah, he
has not had a bad take, and I mean, I might be biased. I don't know, but like, I mean, you're not really. You seem to be pretty untainted by things. Like, I'm definitely biased against, like, for Tulsi. I mean, I'll admit that freely. I just, because she's just verbally impressed me more than anybody else. But yeah, I mean, it's so obvious to see people like I mean, just to see everybody coalesce behind Biden is so suspicious of
Andrew
Yang, which was so his whole thing was, I will not support a candidate that doesn't support UBI. And then he supports a candidate that is not supporting UBI. And again, it's like one of those things of like his statement about why he went behind Biden was, I did the math and blah, 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 Biden. It's like, fuckface. When you still had a chance to push people in a different direction, you took a job at CNN instead of endorsing Bernie.
Yeah.
It's so pathetic. And then Warren, I just hope goes down in history. I hope she gets primaried, honestly. I hope she fucking loses every political position she ever could have gained.
Yeah.
She is a monstrous, monstrous fucking idiot. And her political instincts are so terrible. I mean, going all the way back to Pocahontas, it's like she is just so fucking politically stupid. It's incredible to me. As evidence that she didn't win her own fucking home state.
Yeah.
Like, you are such a bad politician. It's unbelievable. So, I don't know. Nothing?
Nothing.
I need you to
no
carry
thoughts,
this a little
head
bit.
empty.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Just embarrassing all around. And Andrew, like, let me talk to you directly.
Yeah.
Do better. Like, I love that that's the liberal phrase of like telling
Andrew
people
Yang to do better.
It's like neoliberals telling people to be more woke.
Be better. Be better.
Just do better. It's like, what do you mean do better? What do you want from us? Because I'm not going to do better unless you tell me exactly what you want, and then I get to decide how woke I should be.
Right.
You know.
Yeah. Yeah, and Gio says Yang is legit dead to me now, sending him a banquet of flowers to his grave. And it's crazy because if you go to his Twitter where he made the announcement, all of his fans are just like,
How
fuck
dare
you,
you.
dude. Like, how dare you.
It's such a betrayal.
It is.
Andrew Yang is like is a progressive candidate.
No, I don't think, I mean, he's not, I mean, UBI is a progressive idea.
Yeah.
But I don't think that he's a progressive, like, completely. But again, it's like, this was your one thing.
It was him, Bernie, and Tulsi were
Right.
the three that and Marianne.
Oh, of
But
course, yeah.
but they were like the ones that I really thought had like their own coalition and thought they would stand behind each other from the start. And it's really sad to see Yang do this.
JB Grix says, I'm just popping in to say howdy from the Midwest. Y'all are awesome. Well, you're awesome
Hey,
too.
thank you for stopping in.
Gio says, Yang is legit dead to me now, sending him a banquet of flowers. I think I already read that. I'm sorry. Nyanoni says, today Yang gloated that Biden will win and will usher in a technocracy thanks to the coronavirus. What?
Technocracy?
What a weirdo.
What's a technocracy? Where technology rules.
I mean, basically.
Technology rules,
Technology
dude.
rules, bro.
That's what it is. The race is over. He has lost support since 2016, says Jacob.
Yeah, well, that's kind of what we're saying. It's like he lost states that he won over Hillary, so it's just...
And young people don't vote, Jacob says. Yeah, that was the most disappointing thing about all of these states. Young people just not turning out.
And can I say something, too? Like, I'm really sick of this it's the boomers' fault narrative. Like, fucking, like, your guy, like, this is a combination effort.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the millennial woke shit doesn't talk to them.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, we were ineffective communicators to boomers. Like, we did not sell, like, because we have this cancer attached to us, like, and also that, you know, that Trump's a Nazi and all this dumb, like you can't fearmonger everything and, like, and let the media run with these narratives and then expect boomers to, like, not watch anything other than corporate media. We are the ones watching alternative media. They are not.
Yeah.
So, like, really, this is a failure of us, not them.
If more boomers are turning out to vote, match their energy. It's like, match their vibe, bro.
Yeah.
If they're more politically active, you need to be more politically active too. If you want to fight back against them, do it.
I'm just saying this whole, like, boomers are stupid thing is fucking so intellectually lazy. Cut it out. Stop saying that. It's fucking stupid.
Preach, Jordan. Preach.
And so, like, and again, it just again, you did the same shit that lost, like, that toxic element of the progressive movement is what lost Hillary the thing. Mm-hmm. And then when Trump won, I was like, oh great, this is finally proven that this shit doesn't work.
Yeah.
And they just got worse. And like, and so like, really, like, we saw my grandparents on Friday. They're both 90 years old. And we were talking to them about politics, and they hate Trump because that, like, there's such a misunderstanding amongst millennials and Gen Z to a lesser extent, because, like, they're not quite online as much as millennials are yet about, like, politics. They're close though. There's no consideration about how every generation is going to see the world differently. So, like, my grandparents are people who always vote, of course. They hate Trump, even though they're lifelong Republicans, because decorum is so important to that generation, obviously. But the other thing, like, what was so fascinating was my grandfather said the biggest problem in this country is the wealth divide. And I didn't say it, but I thought in my head, fascinating, that's what Bernie Sanders is saying.
Yeah.
But because he got indoctrinated with this communism red menace thing for 60 years, he could never vote for somebody who identifies as socialist or a communist. It just will never, so it's not his fault. No. It's just how he sees the world. And so, like, and then millennials are the generation that grew up we saw 9/11, that's deep in our psyche. The housing crisis is deep in our psyche. Watching Occupy Wall Street fail is deep in our psyche, and watching the wealth divide get greater is deep in our psyche as well. So of course we're going to gravitate towards somebody like Bernie Sanders, and it's like, it's predictable that a generation would fit that way. And then boomers are the ones that have hoarded all the wealth that they got because their parents built everything and suffered. And so it's just, of course they'd want to hoard and protect what they already have. It's not surprising.
Yeah.
But it's also not all fucking boomers. Like, it's just lazy. It's reductive. You're thinking so myopically that it's pathetic. Just stop it. It really is, like, like we need to all own this loss. And again, it's like, but they won't. They're gonna just do the same fucking shit again. They're gonna keep like when you know if Biden, it's the only thing I'm interested to see is Sunday, because Biden's not had to talk solo to one other person for an hour or however long this is gonna go. Sometimes they're 2 hours. It's gonna be so bad. So
Sunday is they're having, is that the sit down debate where they changed the rules
because
to have them
Joe
seated?
needs to sit.
Yeah, he can't stand for that long anymore.
Yeah. Jacob Larson says people between the ages of 19 and 29 were 13% of the voters on Super Tuesday. Oh my God.
Yeah, isn't that really cool?
And they're the ones that complain the most online about racism, fascism. Cauliflower is a colonialist vegetable. It's just like, you guys need to fucking shut the fuck up. I'm like, can't like, where's my exterminate white millennial women button? Where is it?
I'll make you. We need to get one. I wonder if there's like a custom shop on Amazon.
There is. Yeah, and you can also there's one that you can connect it to USB, so it'll make whatever sounds you want it to make.
That fucking.
I actually want one because like the Useful Idiots podcast with Matt Taibbi, they have a woke button when they say something insensitive, and when you press it, it goes "Wake me up" when you press the button. So I want one really badly. Red Mage says they did actively try to suppress the vote. I don't really know about that. I mean, I saw about how they closed a bunch of voting locations and how there were these long lines and blah, blah, blah. But, like, I just think that we need to just figure out how to streamline the voting process. This is really getting pathetic.
I think you said this before. Let us vote online.
Well, then it'll be hacking, interference.
Sure,
And shadow app, we prove that we just can't handle that either. So I don't really know.
Why can't we just vote with our social security number on the fucking federal government website? Type in your social security number. It'll count your vote next to your social security number, and you can't vote again with that same social security
There's probably a million different security concerns on that one. I think it's a great idea, but again, it's like...
Let it happen.
I think I was talking about I want to pay my fucking taxes online. I don't want to fucking deal with streamline taxes, for the love of God. Like... my tax thing isn't complicated, but it's like so fucking complicated because of the way they structure it.
Yeah.
Jacob Larson says, Neononi says, if Biden steps down and the party nominates a woman or POC or both, who wins? Does the woke intersectional insanity die down, or is that genie out of the bottle? It's out of the bottle. They're never going away. And what's so hilarious is that it'll be, it is going to be a, it's going to be a stain on us, I think, for the rest of our lifetime. And but I think the only thing we can hope for is that their ideas don't win. And it's like, but unfortunately, what that looks like is because like everyone bends the knee to them on the left and the Democratic side. So it's like and the ones who don't or just ignore it, like Pelosi, are fucking
pushed into the middle,
war-mongering idiots. So it's like it's unfortunate that anti-war has to be pro-identity politics, but again, Tulsi is the one person who is like, I'm not talking about she's bringing it up now because she's like, because they're saying there are no people of color in the thing, and she's like, hello, but she's uninterested in using that angle really. And he says Jacob Larson says Trump's probably going to win again. I agree. Trump is going to destroy him in the debates. Yeah. But I was talking to my father about this, and he had a good point of I'm not really sure what Trump's strategy is going to be, because he can't really shit on Biden for his decline.
For being old.
Because he'll alienate senior voters who are clearly the ones that vote. So I don't really know what he's going to be able to do.
Yeah. I imagine he would actually go easy on it.
Because here's the deal. Here's the deal, man. Come on, man.
Right now.
Biden, I don't hate Biden. I really don't hate him. I hate everybody that coalesced around him. Yeah. But I don't think he's like your fucking weird uncle that is kind of funny. Yes, he voted for the Iraq War. I hate him for that. But it's I don't hate him as as a person. Right. As a personality anyway. But so the thing, he'll come across as more charming if Trump decides to just beat the shit out of him. So I think his camp is trying to figure out how to plan this now, and I'm interested to see what the attack will be.
Yeah.
Jacob Larson says, I'm in college. All I see people do is party, smoke weed, sleeping, and having sex. Well, yeah.
Yeah, if your man, if all your man does is smoke and lay meat, you're dating a barbecue. You remember that meme?
Yeah, I do. That's a good one.
I love that one.
Red Mage says you need polling places, you need paper ballots. Technology is the most pointless aspect of elections. I mean,
so I wish, like, the way we have it now, these weird, like, you enter the booth and you put in electronically your vote.
Mine wasn't that way.
Yeah, it was a paper ballot.
Paper ballot, and then it went through a machine.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
See, I prefer that over the digital things that we have.
It took me way less time to fill it out.
Yeah.
Like that fucking turn wheel thing, I fucking hate that.
It's so inefficient.
But it's so crazy because where I vote, they had those up until when I went and did it this time. This is the first time I've ever seen it be paper. Yeah.
And you know, all of California got a mail-in ballot just in case they wanted to mail it in.
Yeah, I like going.
Yeah.
But especially because the place that I go and pull at isn't super populated. Like I have friends in LA that waited in line for like hours.
Yeah.
So if I were voting in that county, I would which I'll eventually have to switch it over, but I would definitely just do mail in. I wouldn't want to deal with that.
I think I'm gonna switch to LA for my next voting.
Yeah, I mean, because there's things I want to vote on
exactly
here that are local, which is the thing you can really only have any change over. Spiffo says we need new parties. I think that's ultimately what's going to come of this. I think that like this is going to be the Democratic Party's awakening, or rather reckoning of because I'm very curious to see what happens in Milwaukee, because I think that there's going to be there might be violence like
Milwaukee
for the convention. Like especially if Biden steps down and they bring in someone like Kamala, or like,
what a disgrace that would be.
Oh, dude, can you
Kamala,
imagine?
the top tier candidate who pulled at what, like 3%?
Dude.
Yeah. How dare they?
And
I would be so mad.
And her big moment, like that I was that little girl moment, was her attacking Joe Biden.
Yeah, she called him racist, and now she's like, my good friend Joe is gonna win the presidency.
They just stand for nothing. These people stand for
have
absolutely
no values, no principles. They are vapid people who cared not about us, but about what they're...
The opposite of Bernie's message.
Yes, the opposite of Bernie's message. Power, money, their wallets, all that.
Yeah, I don't know. Like into what Noni said earlier about, like, do you think that this will be the death knell for this kind of identitarian thing? Like, I really don't, because like there's really no good scenario. It's like if a Democrat wins, like because like that's like where I'm really stuck, and I think we'll probably wrap up on this thought. Yeah.
Oh wow.
I am not. This is the. Let me answer this real quickly. Sure. Red Mage says one question you would have is, why are the Republican primaries so smooth? Democratic primaries are a complete shit show. Yeah, like, and I said that before. It's like them nominating Donald Trump was proof that they're not in the same mess that we're in now with our party. But here's the thing. I am the vote blue no matter who. I ain't doing it again. I did it I did it in 2016. I'm not doing it again. Yeah. I'm not. So like, I'm not saying definitively, because I don't know what's going to happen, but I am completely disinterested in casting a vote for Biden.
I think the thing is with like the Republican primaries being so smooth and the Democratic ones not, is that like the Democratic Party, all of us who are lefties are much more heterogeneous. We're much more visibly, audibly, vocally heterogeneous. Like, you can see that there's a lot of difference between all of us. Like, I'm very anti-war, you're very anti-war, but you look at neoliberals who are still in the Democratic Party, who are so massively pro-war, and like, and this identitarian thing, we don't really use our identity as leverage against other people in arguments, and so
we're completely without a home.
We're without a home, but we're still like registered as Democrats.
Right.
It's just that we are so like, the Republican Party has so rallied behind Trump, and that's why he got like 98% in every primary poll. That's why they didn't even report on any of the Republican primary polls, because everybody else polled at like 2% or got voted at like 2%.
Right.
So of course Trump is just, he's so backed by the Republican Party, but there's such a massive divide, and there are so many divides and so many things that make us different within the Democratic Party, that of course it's a shit show.
Right.
We want so many different things because we're so many different people.
Right.
We're never going to have one candidate like Joe Biden who's going to represent what we all want. They're just going to make us think that he does.
Well, right, exactly. I mean, it's
they're going to pump us with Joe Biden fuel, and try to get us to vote for him.
And again, like I don't know why any of like the hardcore Bernie people would why would you support Biden? And like any of these people, it makes no sense to me.
Oh, that's not what I meant. I mean, what was the wait times on voting in the Republican primaries? I mean, it was all on the same election day, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, they would have had to wait in line as well. But I think didn't like so many fewer Republican voters actually vote on primary day? I
don't remember.
I feel like
wasn't in 2016. I wasn't really paying attention to what they were doing. All of my thoughts on that is in hindsight. So
I mean, like for this one.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, like, but I mean, what are they? Because I looked at the Republican ballot and I didn't know any of the names on it other than Trump.
Yeah.
So
exactly,
it's just unimportant. But I mean, I think he's talking about 2016.
I don't know.
But even if you're not, that's what I think is illuminating. Is like there was no contested convention. I guarantee you, like, I mean, all the people who are rah-rah for him now, like Lindsey Graham, they were all talking shit on him, but they still gave it to him.
Yeah.
So,
Tom said, interesting thought about the violence. That's exactly what happened in 68.
Interesting.
As a matter of fact, there were riots happening in 100 major cities in the U.S. after the assassination of Kennedy during that election. Isn't that fucking crazy? And I hope it happens.
Yeah.
I hope there are some political riots. We're getting fucked. We're getting fucked.
Like and maybe this coronavirus is to keep that from happening.
Oh,
Neononi says, I just hope that Rich Evans isn't hurt when Milwaukee goes up in flames. AIDS. That's a Red Letter Media joke. Okay.
Very cool.
Yeah, very cool.
I didn't know that one. Many of the Trump primaries broke records in turnout. I didn't know that, which is really interesting. So my instinct is that fewer Republicans would show up to vote because they just know Trump is going to get it.
Right.
It's like Trump's already in office. So why would they vote him out if they like him so much?
Right.
So my instinct was that fewer Republicans showed up, but
right.
I guess that's not the case, which is crazy.
Look at my previous comment. I'm just saying the Democrats play dirty because they hate their base and they have to cheat to win. I just think that it's much more divided than the Republicans are. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of it has to do with this, what's going to inevitably create two parties, which is this progressive movement in direct opposition to, because the Clintons effectively pushed the Democratic Party to the right, which is what made them so appealing to the nation, like at the time, because the 90s were a very different time than now. And then we got, I think through Bush and everything, people started to kind of get a little bit more left, which is what got us Obama, obviously. I'm a bit lost.
I don't know anything about 2016. It was my first time voting, so.
But anyway, I don't know. Do you know what time the debates are on Sunday?
No idea. We should find out.
Yeah.
Because if you're not working during the hours, maybe we can watch it.
Yeah, let's see. Debate.
Should we do
We probably should.
Yeah. I mean, it's getting down to it, and I know you said the generals are going to be huge and important for this. Let's see. Arizona versus Biden, what time it starts, let's see.
Why do they always just not...
Oh, God. Oh, my God. 3 windows. It's business just shut up. Oh, you did 2...
We'll get it. Just 1 second. 1 second.
Yep, there we go. Okay. Outlining. Okay, it's happening Sunday the 15th, this Sunday.
Oh, God. Outline hasn't been working on a lot of paywalled sites lately.
Yeah, they're
starting to crack down.
It's very cool, but I mean, I guess we'll find out. But okay, let's see. Oh my God. Oh my God, it's so awful. I hate sites that do this to you, where they pop up it makes this so unsmooth. We should. Oh, okay. Debate will air from 5 to 7 p.m. Oh my God, dude. Refresh. 5 to 7 p.m. local time, 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern time. Wait, what? Oh, that's
yeah, local time. Yeah, I'll make it. If I leave right away,
yeah,
we maybe can get it.
Yeah,
or part of it. I don't know. We might. Let's just put it. We'll put a. We might.
Big might over that.
Why are they doing it on a Sunday?
I don't know. The Lord's Day. Maybe I'll do it myself. I'll start it at 5 p.m.
You could.
And you can just I'll come over here, break into your house, and then do it.
You have a key here, don't you?
I don't.
Oh, you don't? I need to make you
No.
one.
It's making keys is so fucking easy now. I mean, it always has been.
Yeah.
But like, I've never made one in my entire life until I moved to Long Beach.
Yeah, it's super easy.
I made a copy of one, and it was $2 at Home Depot. You just put in the key and you press a button, and it does it.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
I did have to ask for help though. Because I'm a frail lady.
Because I'm a girl. Help
Look,
me.
those things are jobs for men.
Excuse me, is there a man to help me?
That's exactly. I need a big, strong man to come in and put the key in and carve it for me. Because I don't want to touch it. I don't want the metal. I don't want to be anywhere near. I don't want to breathe it in.
Mm-hmm.
I want a man to do that for me.
I don't blame you. Gio, we'll do our best. And then Yanni says the debates are on after Jeopardy and Jello. Biden gets cranky if he doesn't have his Jello.
That's okay. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm. All right, everybody. We love you. Maybe we'll see you Sunday. If not, we'll see you next week.
Yes. See you then.
All right. Adios.
Bye.
This is all wrong. I should be back in school. How dare you! You have stolen my dreams. How dare you! How dare you!
The fruit basket.